Okay, I gotta put my notes in and do scoring anyway.
And I'll put my thing in there too.
Do, 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 do.
Oh, God, that must be-
Okay. Who got voted out? Annika.
Oh, there we go. It's a short one today. 7 inches from the noonday sun. I might have saved someone's marriage today.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, realistically, I'm pretty sure I didn't. I just delayed the inevitable. So there's a guy at work who just got engaged, and he just got engaged like I don't know a week ago or something, and he was talking very confidently in the break room today to a couple of people. He was saying like, so I was explaining to her that I'm gonna forget our anniversary because I'm bad with dates, but I'm going to make it so that every day is with her is special, not just one day. And then he started saying some other stuff that just sounded equally stupid, and so I just turned around in my chair and I told him, I'm like, you can just put it in your calendar. And he was like, no, well, I know myself and I'm just not going to remember even if I do put it in the calendar. And I was like, that's just stupid. And I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth. And what I said was like, look, you're telling this person who's saying to you that this day is important to me, well, it's not important to me. And here's why you're wrong. And then you're also saying, well, I'm going to make every day feel special for her. How does being ignored like that and just dismissed make her feel special on any day? And then on top of that, like let's say your anniversary is the 10th of October, you can put a note in your calendar on the 10th of September, anniversary in 1 month, set up get restaurant reservation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to do. And if you can't even do that tiny amount of effort to like remember this one date that's important to her, then what are you going to do to make her feel special every day?
Well, I mean, also it's an anniversary, right?
Yeah.
It should be special for both of them, but it sounds like he doesn't give. Like, the thing is that an anniversary isn't the husband's or the wife's, right? But it's supposed to be
Oh,
it's supposed to be a celebration of your relationship. And so if you don't value that, then it's a reflection of how you value the relationship, maybe.
yeah.
All right. So like
Yeah.
if he's seeing it as a chore, that's just not a great approach.
Yeah.
Your
Like let's
relationship's a
say
chore?
yeah. And like I was explaining though, I mean cuz you're right, but also it's like look, if it's not important to you, it is important to you because it's important to her. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's true
that's
too.
what yeah. It's like that's what being a couple is about. It's like it doesn't mean you have to do every single thing that they do or whatever. Don't like it's important that you guys have lives apart from one another. But if someone says, "Hey, my birthday is important to me," and you say, "Well, interesting, because it's just another day to me," then it's like, well, that's probably not going to last very long. I like well, the thing I didn't say, and I really wish. I'm really glad I held my tongue was I was going to say, Joseph, just because you don't believe in divorce doesn't mean she doesn't. Like, your strong Christian values, and that was the other thing, because, like, I probably would have let all this go by, but earlier he had said something, I don't know, because I was only half paying attention. I was on my phone
Hmm.
playing my games and stuff. And he said something to the effect of, It was like, well, if you want to be treated like that, you should act a little more ladylike or something, is what he was trying to tell her. And I was just like, at that point, I was like, oh, fuck, he's going to get, this marriage is cursed.
He was saying that about his
fiance. And like, as I can recall, because like I said, I was only paying half attention. She was saying something like, she wasn't, like, somebody, maybe him, I don't know, wasn't respecting her or something like that. And he was like, well, he was talking in the break room, so who knows what he said in person. But he was saying something along the lines of like, well, people will respect you more if you act more ladylike or something along those lines is what it was. And I was just like, well, that's stupid. So I kind of let that one pass by, because also, like, all right,
not worth
he wants it. Yeah, not worth it. Not my monkey, not my problem. But when he started talking that stupid shit about, no, I'm going to make every day important. It's like, okay, how? That's not a plan. That's a goal. You know
no,
what
but
I mean?
also, if he's gonna say she needs to be ladylike, he needs to be gentlemanly.
Yeah.
And remember this shit. Make it special. Like, being gentlemanly in that context means standing up and doing things that are right in your relationship. But he's like finding a way to skirt that and coming up with some bullshit excuse for it. Like, no, if you're gonna expect her to be ladylike and all this other kind of stuff and all of those ancient misconceptions, like, then you need to set yourself up the same way.
Yeah, but
you need to be what you want to see in the world.
Well, that's the problem, is he is what he wants to see in the world. He just has an incredibly distorted view of himself. He's the kind of, like, his idea, someone was having a hard time. One of our previous supervisors, she was having a hard time because nobody was listening to her and all that. And his idea was to suggest to our boss that maybe she should quit or something like that, because he was like, yeah, that would really solve the problem, and she would be. And it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, how does that help? He's incredibly stupid.
Yeah, sounds like a piece of work.
He is, and he's convinced that, because he knows the words that he's thinking in his brain. This, I promise, this is Survivor related, because you see this a ton of times out there.
Yeah.
Because he knows what's going on in his brain, and he doesn't think he's a bad person. Everything that he does that is bad is justified because it's for a greater purpose or a greater good.
It's for a greater good that he's envisioning in his own head.
Yeah, and it's like, that justifies it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I hate it when people do that. It's like I like a villain in this show who will just be like, I'm doing this because I want to win the $1 million, and it's just a game. And we talked last week about how sometimes I think, well, that does kind of show the real you, like what you would do absent rules in the real life. But like when someone backstabs their friend in this game, and then they say, well, they made me do it, or I'm not a bad person for doing this. It's like, just accept that you did a bad thing. You know what I mean? Ugh.
Yeah, or just like, say you're sorry, right? Like, it's the people who do the backstabbing shitty thing and then just they hide behind, oh, it's a game. It's a game. I don't have to apologize. It's a game. Like, yeah. No, you still hurt somebody's feelings. And yes, in the context of the game, we all understand. It is understood that you did what you felt you needed to do to win this game, to win the $1 million, help your family, better your goals however you want to, blah, 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 right? Like, we all understand the context. You're right. Still, it hurt. So say sorry. It's okay to say sorry.
Yeah, just say, you know what, it happened. I'm sorry that it happened this way, but it was what it was. Like, that's why I go back all the way to China all the time and say, like, now unfortunately I forget who the winner of that season was. It was like Ryan or Brian or Matt or something like that. I feel bad because he was a winner that I really liked.
Todd Herzog.
What was his name?
Todd Herzog.
Oh, Todd. Yeah. Wow. Matt, Brian, Ryan, those aren't even close.
Yeah, he beat Courtney and Amanda.
And at least Matt, like that fake or that wrong name is the same structure, consonant, vowel, same consonant, same consonant. So I don't know. But anyway, Todd, he backstabbed and betrayed a whole bunch of people. And when they asked, like, hey, what do you have to say about that? He just said, I did it. I'm glad I did it because it's why you're there and I'm here. And outside of the game, we can be friends. But I had to. And he like not only did he own it, but he like gloriously revealed like all of the inner workings of that.
Yeah.
And that's why he won. Because Amanda, who actually played a pretty good game, when she got to the end, she got all demure and was like, "No, I mean, it really hurt to do that," and she didn't own it, and that's why she, in fact, as I recall, maybe I'm forgetting, but as I recall, I think Courtney got more votes than she did.
Oh, I don't remember. I have to check that. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I know Courtney
Yes,
got at least.
Todd had 4, Courtney had 2, Amanda had 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's like because Courtney, like she was the prototypical I don't belong here kind of player. Like, sorry, by that I mean I think she played a good game and she did what she did, but she was outplayed by Matt easily, and she was outplayed even by Amanda. But she had a really good final tribal council. She owned it. Like, she yelled at, I know his name wasn't Jean Ralphio, but that's the only name I can think of, the poker player. I think if I'm like painting in my head, but she earned his vote. Like, these two people were at each other's throats the entire time, and in the end, he voted, if I recall correctly, to give her $1 million, even though she didn't get it. But it's like that, like she had a great one because she also just kind of owned up to everything she said and did, and But
Courtney was a good talker, like 100%.
Yeah. She talks shit. I like a good shit talker. All right, we should talk. Hey, hello. Outwit, Outplay, Outcast, Survivor Podcast, Night Leaving Geeks. We will save your marriage. Just give us your issues, and we will talk sense into you. We're going to be talking about season 47, episode 4.
5.
5.
I didn't update that.
The
scales be tipping.
Yeah, I don't like it when I don't know. That's an affectation, and I don't really like affectations. You're from Winnipeg, lady. Anyway. Someone read the thing. It's at the bottom.
Oh,
it's
fine. Brian did it last time. Oh, it's short. Good, perfect.
Yeah.
Teeny's night goes from bad to worst after tribal council with Rome puts the blame onto her, despite having no vote. Genevieve feeds off this and stokes the flames between Teeny and Rome by having them talk at the beach. We then go immediately to a reward challenge with an exciting twist that is certainly new, somewhat interesting, and not particularly twisty. One team wins and gets a Survivor social hour with hot dogs, the greatest good, cooked by Grill Master Kyle. Teeny tells everyone...
Good?
Huh?
Did I say good or food?
You said good, and I was just going to roll with it. It's your take that hot dogs are the greatest food?
I hate... Hot dogs are... Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Why aren't hot dogs the greatest good?
You know what, Brian? You are right. The highest good that you can serve is a hot dog. That's why my coworker needs to just
hot dogs every day for his fiance.
Hot dogs every day, honey.
Grilled, only grilled though.
I type these on the tablet, and sometimes I know I F, but F is right next to G, and sometimes my tablet is just like, no, you meant good.
Yeah.
So hot dogs, the world's greatest food.
Cooked by Grillmaster Kyle. Teeny tells everyone she's on the bottom. Gata doesn't tell anyone anything useful, and Tiana tells everyone everything. Caroline schmoozes hard. We really only see the fallout on Lavo during all this, in which Rome approaches Saul. Saul has a moment of clarity that he isn't doing well, and Genevieve no longer trusts Rome. At Immunity, Tuco dominates all aspects of the challenge and wins with ease. Gata has a terrible first 2 stages, but mounts a comeback only to fail the puzzle by 1 or 2 seconds. But at least they got 18 raw eggs. The initial targets are Andy and Annika, with Sam and Andy siding against Rachel, and Annika and Sierra. What did you do here? There's so many ands. The initial targets are Andy and Annika, with Sam and Andy side against Rachel, and Annika and Sierra being the swing vote, having to choose the boys or the breadwinners. There we go. Okay. I think I got that sorted out. Except Annika has no vote. So there's not a lot of surprise when Annika is given the boot. Not a lot of surprise to us anyway, but she's shocked, and those huge anime eyes of hers become pie plates. That reminds me of the live-action Alita Battle Angel, which it was so awkward.
Yeah.
Eyes look huge.
They're not CGIing up Annika's eyes. They really are just that big.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to go down as one of the all-time great boots, I think.
Yeah.
This is up there for me with Michaela.
Do you remember, like, first season when they weren't supposed to say any, like, the original concept of the show was they would get voted out and just leave immediately. They wouldn't get to say anything. Although I guess that kind of got broken in the first episode when that old lady was just like, "Go get him, guys." But still, like, I mean, that's the thing is, like, this is why they decided, you know what, maybe it's okay, because she was in such shock that she kept turning around and then asking who, well, actually, so she asked, "Hey, whose idea was it?" And then Sam raises his hand, and Andy says, "The three of us."
Yeah. Because Andy doesn't want Sam to get full credit. Andy's certain he did this.
Yeah, that's what's
Which
funny.
he's not. He did. I will say Andy did. I was shocked at how well Andy did between Immunity and Tribal Council.
See, here's the thing, though. I think if Annika had her vote, Andy would be gone.
Yeah, but they knew she didn't, so...
No, but I mean, that's the point. It's like, they didn't get rid of her because they like Andy more. They got rid of her because it's the easy out.
I don't know. I think Sam got rid of her because he likes Andy more, and Sierra apparently values her alliance with Sam more than she valued the breadwinners.
But she valued the alliance with Sam more than she valued the alliance with the breadwinners because the breadwinners had 2 votes.
Maybe.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think this game would be very different if she had not, unfortunately, lost her vote. But that's what happens sometimes.
I also found interesting the discussion about Sam's dilemma with his idol, right? Like, he hid it from Andy, and Andy's the one who, like, if Andy finds out now that Sam had gotten the idol, Andy would be fucking, because Andy's the one who found it, didn't pick it up because he's like, I'll go back for it later, right? And then Sam's the one who got it, and they've been talking, oh, I don't know who got it, blah, 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 right? And Sam never told Andy who got it or what happened to it. So to this point now, Andy still doesn't know, right? So if he plays it, Andy's going to be fucking shook, right? Like Sierra, it's not just any old idol, right? It's that Andy had found it, put it back, got lied to by Sam, all of this stuff that built up that idol with Andy. It's going to be, it's not just an ordinary, like, oh, I didn't tell my ally. It's, oh, my ally actually found it, and then I swiped it from under his nose. And then got it, didn't tell him, and kind of laughed at him for it behind his back for a while. Right? Like, that's brutal. So he can't tell Andy about it. But, like, you kind of want to use it, right?
Yeah.
I like his idea of just not using it.
You know, it would have absolutely, he could have just played it on Andy. Would have solved that problem real fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it would.
Why wouldn't it? You kidding me? Have you seen the way Andy's playing? Dude, if he fucking played an idol for Andy, Andy would love him till the day he dies.
Yeah. No, Brian's right, and it kills me to say that. Joking. But, no, you're right. Like, it would not be hard at all for Sam to say, look, I didn't tell you about it because if I did, it might get out and da-da-da-da-da. But, you know, I got you. You know? But, yeah, so I think that he probably should have played it.
Yeah, I mean, it is certainly...
I mean, we're Monday morning.
Yeah, it certainly is calculated risk, right? Like, and how comfortable he was feeling in the moment. Like, I think he correctly read that it was going to be Annika or Andy, and maybe he'd be wrong, but at the very least, he did need to play his idol, banking that it would be Andy. I mean, if he knows it's between Andy and Annika, maybe play it for Andy anyway, to guarantee
you know
it.
What,
but
you know what this gets me wondering is, so that we know that they're going to merge in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
if there is a day between this tribal council and that merge, his idol is null and void now. Is there one placed in their camp?
Yeah, my understanding is they place it while they're at tribal, if it's this kind of situation.
Interesting.
Because
so,
Sam's is dead either way after this, so the best time to do it is while they're all not there. So go and do it while they're at tribal. Get it done.
That means that if there is time, it's like, if they're doing it like first thing in the morning the next day, then there's no time for them to search for it. But if they are doing it right now and there is time for them to search, then only Genevieve and Sam know that it's out there. Andy is just clueless and lost.
Yeah, Andy doesn't know the twist with the box and the 1 versus 3. Yeah. He thinks it's a full idol out there somewhere.
Yeah.
He won't know to go.
Well, I don't know about. Does Rachel know that Sam has it?
Yes, everybody knows except for Andy.
Oh God, it's so sad.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why he really can't have told Andy. And I hear what you guys are saying, but like Andy being emotional, it could swing either way, right? He could be like, "Oh my God, thank you for playing it for me, super duper grateful." But I don't see that in him. I see what I predict what's going to happen. It's going to be what happened. Back when John cracked the coconut and everybody clapped, but then I did it and nobody said. It'd be like that, right? Like he's going to swing for the negative. He's going to swing for the, Sam hid this from me. He's been playing with me the whole time. I'm not really blah, 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 right? It's going to spiral for him. I think not playing it is the totally right call. And especially, like, you're taking this big chance to keep Andy around. You don't want to then play this idol and risk Like, you're doing this move to keep Andy. Don't lose Andy in the process of keeping Andy.
I mean, the problem is, do you think that the 4 remaining GATA members are going to be hunky-dory happy? No, Rachel's
gone.
Is mad.
Rachel's gone.
Genevieve already... Yeah, sorry, I said Genevieve, but I meant Sierra. Sierra is already kind of skeptical of Sam. So somebody is going to tell Andy about the idol, and if he had at least played it, it could have been like, yeah, I didn't tell you, but hey, I at least played it for you. Now it's, hey, I didn't tell you, and also I knew you weren't going to get voted out, but then he has to explain, okay, well, you knew I wasn't going to get voted out, but also you had an idol that could literally only be played once. I don't think that there's a way to recover from that, aside from potentially saying, oh, well, they're lying, I don't have it.
I think you lie. I think you just lie, especially if it's coming from Rachel. If it gets to the point where you're Sam and Sierra's telling Andy, you have bigger problems, right?
Yeah.
Rachel's saying it, you'd be like, yeah, she's just lying. She's just lying to try and get you against me.
I don't think they're going to bother telling Andy about it since it's gone and doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think they think Andy's strategic enough to need to know anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
I just think if you get to the merge and you're Rachel, you weaponize it if you can.
Yeah, like anything you can to create more fissures. So that was something I was going to ask you guys about, because obviously Labo is not sticking together. They're everyone for themselves. Gata seems to be, there may be like some dyads there, but I don't think there's any, I don't think they're definitely not going to be 4 strong. So Tuku, it almost feels like they are just going to dominate the rest of this, because they, like, even though there's some minor fissures, like, Gabe and Sue and,
Sue and
who
Tiana.
was it? Sue and Tiana and all that kind of stuff. I think that they will see the chaos of those other teams and just be like, hey, we've got good headspace going on. Why don't we stick together?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, I think Gabe is enough of a gamer to be okay with it. Be like, that was a shitty thing to do, but let's stick with the numbers and steamroll some votes. But I'm worried about Sue being overly emotional. Because she seems very vengeance oriented.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Sue, I don't here's the thing. I don't think Sue's going to be very good at this. I will say Gabe had the right instincts by saying, I want to find an old person and be allies with them, because as soon as Tiana says anything negative about Gabe at the social hour, Sue reports it right back to him, and it's just like, look, that's not what she said. You've got to. Here's what you got to be on the lookout for. So, that's really paying dividends.
Yeah, it is. And I think come to merge, if you're just blindly looking at Tiana and Sue, if you're of a certain age, you're probably more likely to trust the one that looks like mom. Just inherently, I guess.
Yeah. Tiana, for that matter, I like that. See, here, going back to what we were saying earlier about saving marriages, she knew that her apology, she didn't care about her apology. She said, I don't have anything to apologize for. But she knew it was important to Sue, and she knew it was important to Gabe, and so she gave an apology. Now, it wasn't a very good one. She could have done it better.
It was still better than what Rome did for Saul. Yeah, last episode.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I offended you. Yeah, but whatever. Like, that's repairable, especially because Gabe, as we know, he's a gamer, and Tiana is rational, at least. Like, when at the social hour, when she threw Gabe under the bus, she said she was doing it just because she wanted to make sure people were talking about him and not her. And it's like, all right, yeah, I can get with that.
The tricky thing, like, I get that, but like almost all of her tribe were on that reward.
Yeah,
that's what makes it such a risk. If it was like just you and Sue and Kyle, right? But like Caroline's, like, it's everybody but Gabe, isn't it?
Yeah. Gabe's the only one. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's, you can't, because then you're banking on the fact that all of them there are not cool with Gabe, and you can never know that for sure.
Yeah. Were you a little disappointed by the fact that they didn't show Gabe by himself at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
well, I mean, what's he gonna do? Like, he can't. It's not like he's gonna strategize or anything. Like,
well, like what they were saying at the social hour. Why am I blanking on that? What they were saying about him at the social hour is, oh yeah, he's definitely out there looking for an idol. So, like, it'd be nice if they showed us him looking and failing. Like, they only have to show, like, 35 seconds. Like, yeah, I searched for a while and I just couldn't find anything.
Or cut to him tending the fire. Like, show us that he's not looking for it.
Yeah, exactly. Or be like, yeah, it was just, whatever. I don't know, just something. It's. I'll put it this way. I'm not disappointed, but it seems like an odd choice to not show it at all. Like, maybe there's a possibility that they do a flashback in the next episode.
Yeah,
they've done sometimes, but I don't think that they will.
And to be fair, this was a pretty packed episode, and time wise, you might not have had that spare 20 seconds.
Yeah. This one was an interesting episode because, like, I'll put it this way: I was kind of disappointed with it until Annika's reaction, because it was so obvious that she was going to be the one going home that I was like, "There's no real drama here. It's just kind of, it is what it is." Now, like, the fact that they lost by only like a second and a half or whatever is insanity to me, and that was amazing to watch, because it really did come down to the fact that Andy couldn't cut that rope.
Yeah.
Like I thought for sure that they were just going to be completely out of it, but Lavo had such a hard time knocking off the last couple of bricks that, like, really they only got it on a technicality. Like, that last one that they hit, they didn't knock it off of the board or whatever you call it. They hit it and it separated from it, and then in the eyes of the game, that counted. It was no longer technically on there, so yes, they were all off for like a second and a half or whatever. So they only got through that part on a technicality, whereas even at that, like, they still had plenty of time to work on that thing. Yeah. Oh, wait, never mind. They both started working at about the same time. Sorry, I'm getting a little kerfuffled. Regardless, the point is, like, it was way closer than it needed to be, and it essentially came down to the fact that Andy was using the blunt side of the spear, and then even when he used the right side, I don't know how bad he was at cutting. Did you see?
I think he was just like putting no leverage in it. I think he was just hoping it was sharp enough to just saw and cut.
Oh yeah. Okay,
right, like, but you got to put leverage into it. You got to push it down while you cut. And I think he was just not. He was just hucking it back and forth.
Yeah, I bet you if I was a cop and I had some crime scene investigation experience, I could have told you how badly he was sawing just by how frayed that rope looked.
And the thing that it was such an Andy moment, but like I think the reason it came down to this isn't because like this is what God has done the whole time, right? Suck at the physical part and then win at the puzzle.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is this puzzle was just a square puzzle. Square pieces. No puzzle on how to fit, no abstractness, and you already saw it. Right? You already know what it's supposed to look like. So in terms of Survivor puzzles, this is way on the easier side of the range, right? So if puzzles is your strength and that's where you make up your ground, this is not a good situation that you need to be fought. Like, and not just, I mean, it focused on Andy a lot, but that second stage when they were dragging the coconuts, they took a long ass time there too, and I don't know what happened. That's not all on it. Like, the rope definitely was Andy, but like I don't know what happened to the rest of it. Like the coconuts kept falling out or some shit. I don't know.
Well, I think what happened is just they're not very strong. Like Sam is strong, but even Sam, like you wouldn't say he's not like super strong or anything. He's not like that guy who friggin' lifted up the boat.
Yeah,
He's
and Andy's like fit-ish.
Is he though?
Yeah.
He's not out of shape.
Like neither of them are as big as Saul. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't matter at all. Literally, the amount of time they lost was just him using the wrong side of the blade.
Yeah.
Just if he didn't do that, they would have won.
Yeah. No, I mean, you could easily say, oh, well, if they had picked up the pace carrying the sack of potatoes or whatever it was across the finish line. Yeah. But the thing is, all of them would have had to pick up the pace, whereas Andy literally just would have had to use the knife correctly.
Yeah. It was an easy fuck up moment.
yeah. It's like that's like when it comes to sports, I always get annoyed when someone is like, this team is losing because of this player. It's like, no, there's a lot more to that. If you get shut out 4-0, it's not the goalie's fault because you also didn't score any goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. Say you get shut out 1-0, you still lost. So it's a team loss. But this team, they definitely lost this one. If they performed everything else exactly the same, they would have won because they cut that thing faster. So that's why I am like, no, it is very definitely like Andy's fault.
That 1-0 is not the goalie's fault unless the goalie scored an own goal.
Yeah.
Then it is 100% the goalie's motherfucker. And yes, you could have scored some points too, but that is the goalie that lost you the game.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Yeah. I know, but that's the thing is this is the same kind of situation too as that, right? Like when it's only a matter of seconds, like yeah, maybe if they had picked it up, maybe if the puzzle was a half a second faster, right? Like there is still the team part of this, and
there is
maybe this one was 90% Andy. I think it's easy to point at Andy and say that's the reason why, but like also Saul slipped, and maybe if he slipped a little harder for a half second at the end there, they would have lost, and it would have been fine. Right? When you're looking at like a half a second, I don't know if I want to blame one person. Because even if he had been using the correct side, he was not sawing properly anyway. Like,
yeah, but he would have been not sawing properly.
That time, like 5 seconds at most, was how much they lost by.
But also, why is Andy the one doing it?
At least 15 seconds.
It's the one solo part of the challenge. And you have the bumblingest person on your tribe doing it. Put Sam in there. He's more reliable.
I do wish they would show us, like, when it's something like this, right? Like, show us what led to it. Like, because maybe it is as simple as they all got together, and Andy said, "I can do the knife thing or the spear." And then they said, "Okay, sure." You know what I mean? Maybe it's as simple as that, but show us. Like, I really appreciated in the second episode that they showed Rome saying, "I got this. I got this. I can jump from that thing. I can do it," or whatever.
Yeah,
You know
and him
what I mean?
saying he needs to be in the clutch position.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. That's. Sorry. Actually, why am I worrying about the noise that's coming through? The noise never comes through.
No, you're fine.
There was a helicopter because I live near a hospital. Anyway, like Rome doing that, it was kind of like a character revealing moment, and it kind of served to inform us. Well, actually, I guess it didn't really matter because he was fairly good at his part of the challenge, whereas this had direct ramifications. It's not like you can't say, "Oh well, in hindsight, we should have gotten that footage." It's like you got plenty of footage, and you get to edit this thing however you want. So I don't know.
What did you guys think of the egg negotiation, trading the chickens in?
I think this is by far the most generous Jeff has ever been bartering.
I thought for sure when they asked for 24, they were going to get 10 or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I thought he would have come back with 6 or something.
I was just really surprised where Jeff was just like, "All right, well, I can give you..." What did he do? I think he countered with 10, and then he said, "What about 20?" And he's like, "All right, we'll split the difference," or something like that. And
I think he countered with 15, 5 each, because they started with 8 each. He came in for 5 each, and then they settled on 6.
Yeah. I mean, that just seemed weird. Because Jeff usually is. I kind of get where he's coming from, potentially. I mean, I'm not in his brain. I don't listen to the podcast. Maybe he explained it on that. But, I could see him thinking to himself, well, they won first place, so they deserve something. So maybe they deserve more. Because the previous... They got 6, right? Previous... Yeah. So maybe they deserve more than 6. But then especially when Sam counters with, "What about 20? That's when old Jeff would have been like, "No, I'm the one who has the leverage here. I don't, I'm going to go back to my trailer, my Star Wagon, and they're going to feed me a steak. I don't need these eggs. You need these eggs." So
I did listen to his podcast before. Usually I don't get a chance to listen before we record, but I did get a chance to today. And he explained, look,
that's why you were so late.
He did explain, look, they won the challenge. They did earn this thing. And these chickens still have value, right? Even if you don't want the eggs, they're still... Even if this tribe doesn't want to kill them, who knows what happens after the merge, right? So, there is still inherent value in having a chicken, even if it doesn't lay its eggs as much as you thought. And he laid out, look, they figured X number of days left. These chickens lay, on average, X number of eggs per day, right? And then he said, that's going to end up being... 28 eggs before the end of the season, right? So he used that as a baseline, but obviously if you want to cash that in early, like you said in the episode, it's like the lottery. You can take it in installments and maybe get more over time, or you can get it right now and get less, but you get it right now, right? And so that was his way of going about it. But I will say on his podcast every season they bring in a player from the previous season, and the one who was on this season is Charlie, who came in second and maybe should have beaten Kenzie according to some people. But he laid out look, the amount of calories in one chicken is 1,200 calories. The amount of calories in one egg is 80. So even if you get 80 calories per 18 eggs, this is 3 chickens. That's 3,600 calories you're trading in for roughly 1,400. That's a shit deal. It does end up being a pretty shit deal.
Yeah.
I think it's just because they didn't want the chickens and they couldn't bring themselves to kill them. You kill them, if you don't have any vegetarians or whatever on your tribe, kill them.
Well, that was Sarah didn't want to kill them, but also it's also much easier to cook an egg than a chicken.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with this. It's not normally where they're trying to trade nothing for some rice. This time they actually had something that was worth something they had to trade with that they did win. So.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff knowing too that the merge is coming soon changes things a little bit.
Yeah. No, I guess you guys are right. Maybe it's that little fit of pique in me when Sam said, "What about 20?" And it's like, I feel like at this point, if I was Jeff, I'd be like, "Well, now, like, what?" At that point, what was he saying? He was saying 15. He'd be like, "What about 12?"
Yeah, right.
Just remind him a little bit of who's. Who's
I could always just say no.
Yeah,
you're carrying these chickens back.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I get it. And maybe it is. Also, I would say that because of the last couple of seasons where they've had basically not much food, compared to, seasons 1 through 39 where they had big bags of rice or whatever. Like maybe he is a little bit more generous there, and maybe you're right because they are giving up actual factual chickens.
I think it's just a matter of they're getting a couple eggs a day. They have to feed these things. They have to make sure they don't escape. They have to there's a certain amount of care and upkeep that has to happen, and they're getting maybe 2 eggs, or maybe an egg a day, right? And then they look over.
Broken.
Right, but then they look over at second place, and second place got 6 eggs up front. Like, it's hard to be like, all right, I gotta wait another day. Like, man, it's rough to sit there and think like, I gotta wait a week to get as much as second place got.
Yeah,
that's rough. I feel for them in that.
But you don't. You could have eaten one of them right away.
Yeah, I think that's why they give them 3, because like you eat one, you keep a couple for egg laying.
Yeah.
And maybe your rate's not as good, but at least you got the protein up front.
Yeah. Also, I mean, after like 2 more tribes or whatever, you're going to be merged, and then you don't necessarily want to share your chickens anyway. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, now they got 18 eggs. They weren't able to cook them, and they're going to bring them into the merge.
That was
man, and chicken and egg are such a great prize, because those are 2 things that taste perfectly fine if you don't have any seasoning.
Yeah.
Like if you gave him a piece of beef, that would it'd be awesome, but I mean, it would still be like, this is pretty bland.
Yeah,
chicken's delicious automatically.
Imagine their farts though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're outside,
Yeah.
What did you guys think of Rome's apparent, like, ready willingness to go hang out and talk with Saul? I was very surprised by them having an open, strategic conversation after what last episode looked like.
Yeah, well, like I said in the previous one, Saul to me is an incredibly patient and rational person. So I don't think, I think if he had an option to not work with Rome, he would take it in a heartbeat. But at this point, at this juncture, he does not have that option, and he wants to stay in the game.
Oh, now he does.
Yeah, now he does. Yeah. I hope. I really do think, like I said, I like the fact that they are both in there. I think it's interesting. I would be happy to have either one of them on my team just because I think they would give me points. But I don't know who's going to win the fight, and I don't want to gamble on it.
What I would love is the turn where, like, at the merge, they end up actually coming together and realizing that Genevieve was playing both of them. And they both ditch her and become BFFs.
Just like Sheamus and Cesaro.
I just think it'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It would. It won't happen. It won't happen. There's no way it's
no.
happen. But man, it would be great.
There's too much water.
Oh, the bar.
The bar, yeah. Oh, that was great. So, Andy, you're not a wrestle person, so here's a summary of the bar.
Give it to
you
me.
had Sheamus, this Irish guy who was in one of the Ninja Turtle movies as Bebop and or Rocksteady.
Okay.
Which one? And you had Cesaro, who's a giant Swiss gentleman, and they did a best of 7 match series against each other, right? And they were all really good matches. So one-on-one, they just fought each other, and it was really cool. And at the end, they formed a tag team. They teamed up together, and then they just wrecked shop as a tag team for like a year and a half. And then Cesaro went over to AEW and all that, and Sheamus got injured and whatever. But still, so their name was The Bar because they were they were the bar against which all other tag teams were measured. It was, yeah. But that's the thing, is they were enemies to lovers, and they were really great together. They were no Breezango, but they were really great together. Anyway, yeah.
They were great, and they were funny.
Yeah, yeah. Cesaro, one of the smart, he speaks like 5 languages, I think. He's a really smart and interesting person. Probably one of the smartest people to ever become a wrestler. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know, is there anything else you want to add? I mean, yeah, like I said, it would be nice if they realize Genevieve is playing them, but also I just think there's too much water over that dam. Sorry, you were going to say?
Brian?
I think fucking... Now that Rome has no advantages, it's becoming much more clear he's just not good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just all over the place. And it's gonna, when they merge, he's not gonna have, it's, one person's not gonna be enough to save his ass anymore.
Yeah, that's a really good insight. Like, he wasn't dominating Lavo because he was some genius mastermind or a charismatic person. He was dominating them because he had a lot of really good, lucky... He rolled a lot of 6s early on, and now his dice are regressing to the mean.
And I mean, even if he manages to get an advantage, a strong advantage, or an idol, when you have a tribe of 12 or whatever it's going to be, with multiple factions within factions, that idol is not going to be as useful. Right? At Lavo, it's, there's 6 of you or 5 of you, and it's a vote between you and one other person, maybe, right? It's pretty easy to play your idol and swing it around that way, but it's a lot harder in a situation immediately post-merge.
Yeah. Well, additionally, the fact, this is something that I just remembered, he was talking to Saul and saying, oh, we should get rid of Teeny because she has that amulet, and it's that just makes the other amulets better. Why, get rid of the other ones? Get rid of Teeny, but don't, get rid of the other amulet holders first.
Yeah. Because you get rid of Teeny now, and the next one you get rid of Andy, and then suddenly Caroline has a full idol. Yeah.
It's that's a bad strategery, my man. So, well, whatever. But that's also why I just don't think he was being all that genuine in his desire to work with Saul. Maybe he is just that bad, but also I feel more likely he was just trying to ease Saul and basically get him off of his back, so that if there was a merge, he wouldn't necessarily be an enemy. He probably still would, but it wouldn't be 100% guaranteed. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Did you guys like the reward challenge thing? I know we talked about the ramifications out of Sanctuary, but did you like that whole setup and doing the reward and having a random draw of players for the reward together?
Yeah, I thought it was neat. Like I said in the intro, calling it an exciting new twist is a wealthy way to describe it, but it was good and it was new. It was just that it was kind of Jeffrey, we're not dumb.
I think it matters more because next episode we're merging. Yeah. So we're gonna see the immediate fallout of some of the discussions that happened there. We just didn't see it now.
Plus hot dogs rule.
Yeah, also I never would have pegged Kyle as a vegetarian.
No, I know, right?
when that vegan dog was there, I was like, oh, that's probably Rachel's or Tiana's or something. Nope, Kyle's. Okay. Even of the group, the least likely for sure.
Oh, right, yeah.
Actually, no, Sam probably the least likely because Sam doesn't eat anything.
What if he
likes meat? He just doesn't eat vegetables.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. He probably got there and was like, okay, well, we're at a grill and there's some pineapple and there's some tomato, but I don't want those.
I don't know what that is. I'm scared.
I'm just not going to eat it. I don't care if I haven't eaten anything in 30 days. You grill that pineapple, I'm going to say no.
I got to keep my ropes pure.
Oh, no, it was watermelon. It was watermelon that he never ate at a grill out.
Maybe he never ate... for some reason, I feel like he mentioned pineapple too, but whatever. It's fine.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it was heirloom tomatoes. That's what it was.
Well, they listed a couple of things. But, And as far as bets go, if we're still doing these exciting new twist bet, I definitely count this because even though, like, look, yeah, it's not like time reversal or whatever, but it is still very interesting, nevertheless.
I mean, this is episode 5, so none of us had this on our How Long Till Exciting News. Oh, you did. You had it in episode 5, but we gave it to me on episode 1 for the boxes and the idol twist.
Okay, well, I mean, I still get it, though.
Do you? Because we had this discussion, and we decided to wait.
Again, it's how long until one. So that means you have to guess the first time they do it. This has to be the only correct one.
That's fine. I'm going to win this season anyway. So.
Probably, because you were in last to start. That's how it worked.
Yep.
Speaking of winning this one, we'll do the fantasy, yeah?
Yeah!
All right. We did not have any bets resolved yet. We do get to scratch Annika off the $1 million Deadpool bet. Sorry, Nick. That one was yours. You had Annika for the $1 million Deadpool, but not anymore. The drop your best bet will resolve next week, but per Nick's instruction, I'm not going to say who's going to get those points. You get to find out next week. I would talk about the other bets, but I got yelled at for that last episode, so we're not doing it anymore. We're going to keep it a mystery.
I mean, look, people listen to the draft episode, so they know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody memorized what all of those were.
Well, if you haven't,
website.
Yeah, if you haven't memorized it, go to OOOShow.com. Not the old URL, the new one, because the old one is in Chinese now. OOOShow.com. And you'll see that I was in last place with 21 points, but I got 9 this week. I got 3 from Sierra because she went to travel counselor and survived. Going and surviving is kind of like playing with fire. In this game, fire represents your life, so that's worth more points. I also got 4 points for Sam because he survived tribal council and went on that reward. Speaking of Kyle, I got 2 points from him too because he won tribal immunity and went on that reward. So that's 9 out of my 21, giving me 30, which is still last place. Nick, you came in the week in second place. You got 1 from Gabe because he won the tribal immunity and sat by himself back at camp. You got 2 from Caroline because she won immunity and went on the reward, and 4 from Rachel for being on the reward and surviving tribal council. So that is 7 onto your 26, giving you 33. Brian, you came into the week at first with 33 points. You got 2 from Tiana and 2 from Teeny because they both won reward and won the immunity challenge. So that is 4 onto your 33, giving you 37. You also had Annika, but she got you 0 because she was eliminated. But you're still in first by a healthy 4 points and ahead of me by 7. This is pretty close. Going into the merge, so this will be exciting finish. What?
A healthy 4 points. That's like one person on one episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to replace Annika first. I was going to go, but you have to replace Annika.
Yeah. It would be nice to have one of each again. But no, I guess it doesn't matter.
He won't matter. I will say,
I definitely don't want Andy. Anyway.
Sue is on the bench and has an idol in her pocket, a full-ass idol.
Yeah, I think the only people left that are in no danger of getting voted out next is Sue. So I'm going to pick up Sue.
All right.
There you go.
And she's got 1/3 that hit Christian hat trick. Rachel's the only one to make him laugh this season, so.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think Andy's in any danger of getting voted out either. He's, go till the end. But I don't think he's going to get many points either.
I think Andy is in serious danger of getting voted out because you just need Teeny and Caroline to talk about what to do with his idol.
Yeah,
his
I'm happy
amulet.
with my
Yeah.
team. I'm sad. I've been, me, I've been riding the waves, but I'm good with what I got.
Yeah, I've got Sam and Sierra. I was holding on to Sam because he had his idol, but then he didn't play it. I got Sierra. I don't really see Sierra doing a whole hell of a lot. I see this can now be Kyle's time to shine with immunity, individual immunities. I think he'll do all right. I'm debating dropping Sierra or Sam, though, because I feel like a lot of the talk about them being power players and the power couple is going to make them a target. I also think Andy's going to be a target, and they're going to see Andy, Sam, and Sierra rightfully as a group of 3 to target. I'm actually going to drop Sierra and pick up Saul.
Curious.
I'm just doing things to do it, kind of.
Exactly. Like I said, ride the waves.
I feel like they're going to get to the merge and be like, who's the danger? Who are the power couples?
This is a
Especially-
good time to shake it up.
Especially if you're a Tuku and you're like, hey, we could roll this if we just break up the other power couples.
Yeah.
I feel like Saul is very happy to be merging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Saul's exactly the kind of guy that's going to survive the merge really well, because there's going to be some coalition that needs to pick up an extra vote or two, and Saul's going to be like, make it me. I'll survive 2 or 3 votes this way easily.
Yeah. I'll make the jury. That's what's important.
Yep.
I mean, winning is important, but at this point, being so far on the bottom, it's like, look, I will at least make the jury, and while you're in the game, while you're alive, there is hope.
Also, I see Saul doing pretty well in immunity challenges. Hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, he's definitely, like I said, he knocks those blocks real good with those bags, because he is a very good tosser.
And I do feel like this is, Nick, where you're going to make your comeback, because Rachel's the one who's been amazing at the puzzles for Gata. So if she can carry that into the individual portion, she'll do pretty damn well too.
Yeah. I feel like she'll probably be good at all the endurance shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's hoping. We'll find out next week, and then we'll find out that I was wrong, and somehow all 3 of my players will be voted out in the same episode. Yeah,
Triple
can
medevac.
happen. Yeah, well, oh boy, what? Never ever wanted to happen, but man, if that happened to me, I would just be like, you know what? I'm out of this one. I just recorded without me.
There's enough players on the bench you could recover.
Yeah, not really.
You could take Rome and Andy.
Yeah. Well, if I have to take Rome or Andy, we will see about it next week. Goodbye. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they still might do that thing where they vote out 2 people after the merge.
Yeah, exactly. Vote 2, and then there's a medevac, and that's all 3, and I'm like, well, I'm just fucked. All right, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed.